Fixer family, it's Charmin. Welcome to Fixin' 2. Alright, we're going to jump right in with what you're going to need for this project. Now, of course, we're going to be using these 8-inch wreath forms that come 2 in a pack from the Dollar Tree. We're also going to be using this lavender florals from the Dollar Tree. I also got this lamb's ear from Walmart. And I'm going to be using my challenge item twine in this project. We're using one of these wood rounds from the Crafter Square, a dowel I picked up at Walmart, a skewer, and of course some E6000, along with my drill, and I'll be sharing more about that, and of course our hot glue gun and some other things that we'll be using along the way. One of them in which is this miter box. Now, this miter box, super easy. You can get them really inexpensively, I think at Walmart. I got mine from Amazon. But I wanted to show you something that I didn't even know this thing had. And you see this little raised lip, and this is gonna be out of frame, but guys, that little lip is there to put on the edge of a countertop of some sort. And I like to put a little cloth underneath it, helps it from slipping back and forth, but that lip keeps it in place when you're actually, cutting whatever it is that you're cutting. Now I'm going to be taking this dowel here and I'm going to be cutting it off at 14 inches. And I just lay it up here, get it lined up, and then go ahead and get this sawed and cut. It kept wanting to roll on me when I first started, but finally got it going and got it cut off. And once you cut it off, then I'm going to be taking just a piece of sandpaper and kind of cleaning up the end where it was cut. Now I'm going to be taking my wood circle here, and we're not going to worry about filling in the little hole. It's not very big, not real noticeable once we do what we're doing here. And with this, we're going to be creating a mini wreath stand. So the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, find center as best I can on this circle. And you guys may have some tips on how to do that. The way that I did it here was I just measured at the widest point, took my pencil and made a really light pencil line, and then turned it halfway and did it again. And it made a little X, kind of some pie pieces, and the center of that was as close to center as I could get. So now I am taking my drill bit. Now my drill bit that I had was not quite big enough for the dowel that I had purchased. You may have one and that's fine. But so what you'll see me do is I'll drill down a little bit and then check to see if it fits and how it fits, and then go back in a few times and kind of, as you see, what I would call wallowing it out a little bit, and just do that a few times until I could get the dowel down in there to stick down in there. And once I got that figured out, then of course I'm going to come back with my sandpaper and go ahead and smooth out where I had drilled, as well as taking off those pencil marks. Now the next thing we're going to do is change out our drill bit, and I'm going to change it for a smaller size. Now I believe that it was a 7/8 inch drill bit, which is the exact size of our skewer that we're going to use here. Now of course I kind of found where I wanted my little extra piece here. This will be the hook where you will hang your mini wreath. And to start with, I'm going to cut off about 2 inches. That'll be easy to work with. And then I'm going to go where I had marked it, and I'm going to start going straight down just a little, and then I'm going to then take it at an angle towards the bottom of the stick. And the reason I do that is because I want the little hanger to be kind of at an angle so our wreath will not slip off. So once I get it in there, it's good and tight, but of course we're going to glue it. And before we glue it, we're going to cut it about halfway, about an inch off there so that we can have a little bit of a hanger. Then I'm just going to grab my hot glue, put a little dab on the bottom of the little skewer, and then sticking it right into the hole that we created. And then I took my finger and kind of wiped off any excess that oozes out. Now it's time to stain, and of course I'm using my endless can of Rust-Oleum gel stain in the color Java. The top, the bottom, the sides, and the dowel. Now guys, you can paint this if you want to. You can definitely make this your own, but of course I wanted to stain mine. So we're going to go ahead and get it all stained, and then we'll let it dry. Now that it has dried, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the dowel down into the base. And just really simple, I'm going to be using a combination of E6000 for more of a permanent hold to it, and of course some hot glue to kind of give you that short-term hold while the E6000 sets. So just simply putting a little bit on the dowel, putting the hot glue down in the hole of the wood round, and then giving it a moment. You might have to wipe up some of the excess that oozes out, but it will set up after a few minutes and it will be good to go. I'm so excited about this little stand because it will definitely be used in all of my seasonal decor for sure. Well, Fixer family, just like I promised, today's video is going to be a super fun one. Today I am participating in the Fab 5 Collab Alabama edition, hosted by my dear friends Kay and Trish from Crafting Cousins. Now the fun thing about this collaboration is we each have been given one of the channels to give a challenge item that they have to use in their project today, at least one project. And so down in the description box, there will be two links for you. One is to the channel that I challenged with an item. The other one will be the channel that challenged me. And of course, as you know, my challenge item is twine that I have to use in my project today. So I'm excited about that. I love using twine, so this is going to be so fun. Now, the reason you want to hop around to all 5 videos is so you will have an opportunity to enter in to a $50 Amazon gift card giveaway. We are so excited to be able to do this. Now, how do you enter, you may ask? Super simple, and it's just by commenting down below under each video as you go around and enjoy all the awesome inspiration for your spring decor. Now let's go ahead and finish up today's project. Now we are ready to create our wreath. And the first thing we're going to do is, of course, take one of the 8-inch mini wreath forms. And I'm going to be using some burlap ribbon to be able to cover this. And then we'll be putting on our lamb's ear and all of the fun stuff. So of course the first thing that we're going to do is flip over our wreath form and then bring our ribbon up from the back and get it glued down so that it stays in place, and then just simply continue to wrap it all the way around till you come back to where you started and glue that section down. It's small enough that you don't have to glue it, you know, a little bit every other wrap around. It will stay into place. So now we're going to take 3 of our stems of lamb's ear, and these are going to cover pretty well as a base to our wreath. And I'm going to use my challenge item here, the twine, to be able to put it on using no glue, no wire. Now you can use glue, you can use wire, but here is another way that you can also put your florals, your greenery, whatever it is you're going to be putting onto a wreath. You can definitely use twine if you have that on hand. So the first thing we're going to do is, of course, I cut off the long part of my lamb's ear stem, and then we're going to lay it onto the wreath form and kind of bend it. It does have that wire on it to kind of form it around the wreath. And then just simply taking my twine and tying that first knot. Now you want to leave a little bit of a tail because you were going to come back around to that and secure it at the bottom. And so here you see I'm just wrapping the twine in between the limbs, or the leaves I should say, and just making sure that it is secure. You can wrap it several times in one place and then just thread it through the leaves as you're going around and adding the next piece. You can see I'm pulling the leaves back, and I've brought it all the way around to the last piece, and you see we've come back to that little tail, and we're going to go ahead, cut that off, and then just tie another knot. I think I tied it like 3 times to make sure that it's good and secure and that our lamb's ear will not fall off. So now we're going to bring in some color with our lavender flowers. And this particular lavender that they had this year has that same type of frosted leaf on it like the lamb's ear, and that's why I knew that this would go perfectly with this wreath. And of course I am using the twine that I secured the lamb's ear with to also secure our lavender. And as you see, I'm just taking it and pushing the leaves up, cutting off a little piece of the wired stem, and then just taking it and placing it in there. And guys, this is your wreath. Make it your own. Use whatever flowers that you have on hand or that you would like to create this wreath. And it isn't perfect. It's not really supposed to be. I wanted it to be a more rustic, not perfectly round, you know, just really have that fun rustic feel to it. Now there was a few spots that I saw needed a little extra something, and so I had some extra leaves that had fallen off, and so I just took those and glued them into the places that I wanted to make it a little bit more fuller, and you know, just to kind of finish out the wreath. As you see here too, that I am actually going to go in and place a few more of my flowers. I really wanted it to have a little bit more in there. I just love these lavender pieces, and of course purple is my favorite color, and I like to sprinkle it in during the springtime. Now, because I wanted to bring a little bit more rustic look to my wreath, I am going to be making an oversized twine bow, I guess you could say, or maybe not necessarily oversized. It actually, I'm using this round piece that's about 8 inches wide, and I just wrap it around about 20 times, and it kind of naturally, as you see, kind of fell into like a figure 8. And I just took another piece of twine and tied it off, and then I'm going to take it, kind of fluff out the little loops a little bit, and place it into my wreath. Now I personally like it, and of course again guys, make this wreath your own and do what you feel. If you want to put a big bow on it, if you want to just do something more simple, you can definitely make this look absolutely beautiful. Now I wanted to go ahead and make some candle rings as well, and so I'm going to be using the leftover lamb's ear that I had, and of course this is all on wire, and so it was super easy to just bring it around to the very tip of it and kind of form it into that circle. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue and of course a little piece of wire to hold this together to make sure that it stays in the ring. So I find the tip, and of course you see, you can't hardly see it there, but it is a piece of thin black wire, and I'm just going to take a little dab of hot glue and place it on the very end of it. bring it around to the very top of where the wire, I guess wired stem is. Hold that together and then bring that piece of wire that I have and just wrap it around there as tight as I can. And what it does is, of course, it holds where the glue is there, and then of course it itself will hold it together because I'm going to twist it as tight as I can. Now that we've got the ring put together, I'm going to pull off some extra of the leaves here. I had one extra because I created two out of two of the extras I had, and so the third extra, I just pulled some of the leaves off of there, and we're just going to take a little bit of hot glue, glue them to around the back side, and of course I'm going to use a little piece of wire to help hold those on. One, to wait for the hot glue to get firm, and then two, it's going to be a little extra security so that those don't fall off. So we're just going to put them on in the same direction that the other leaves are going, and yeah, we'll just go ahead and make our ring. But then, of course, we are going to be adding some of our lavender. I wanted this to match and go on the candle stands that I made back at Christmas. And I will make sure that I link that video above for you so that you can go and see how I created those as well. I'm so excited about them, being able to use them in another seasonal decor. So here we go. We're going to just take the actual flower buds off at the top, and no leaves on these, and we're just going to glue them in where we feel like it looks best. Now, you guys know that I love to dry fit when I'm making any kind of a wreath, and I also go in and I kind of cut out a few of the little extra leaves that were in the bigger bunch. And then I'm just going to take this, once I get it all together, and just slide it right down onto our candle. And I just love the way that this turned out. This is such a wonderful decor piece that I can use for my spring decor. Well guys, I'm so glad that you joined me today, and I hope that you enjoyed this project as much as I did. Now don't forget to comment before you leave and head on over to the next channel. The link is down in the description box below, and each one that you hop around, make sure that you comment as you come right back around to me, and that will enter you guys in to the giveaway that we have for you. Also, be on the lookout next week in our community tabs. We will be announcing who the lucky winner is. So guys, if no one has told you today, you are amazing. And always remember to keep looking up, because that's where it all is. I'll see you on the next video. Finally.